What's going on, everyone? This is Terrence here with 1010 Studios. And today we're just going to be talking on the channel for Houses of Worship. So, this channel is basically going to be for a house of worship for audio, video, things like that. And we're going to talk more about basically how to get things set up and also how things can be run. There's not one way of doing it, there's multiple ways of doing things, and we're going to talk about those pretty much methods that we've tried and we've done, and also want your input on things that you're doing. So, for the sake of this channel, if you have not subscribed to the channel as of yet, please do so. We'd be glad to have you as part of our community here. And as a matter of fact, I didn't get my video turned on. Hang on a second here. Let me see if I can get this turned on for you all. There you go. All right. So as you can see, I'm inside the studio right now. I'm kind of trying to multitask a little bit. So I'm trying to monitor to see how this is looking. And now that I have it on my iPad, oh, don't want to turn the volume up. I want to turn the volume down. Don't want you coming through. There we go. All right, so now that I got this so I can monitor it, make sure it looks okay. I'm hearing the sound coming through my iPad, so it looks pretty good. Please let me know in the actual chat, what do you think of this particular sound? I had to do some EQ settings on my mic, which I'm using a Samsung mic here today. And I might go over the settings that I have for it. Right now, you can see it's pretty close to me. It's within about roughly 3-4 inches from me. I do have it kind of angled down a little bit to not get those explosives like the P's and the B's and the sibilance of the S sounds. Hopefully it's not too bad in your ears. I'm using headphones, so however you might be listening to it, it might sound different, but sounds pretty good to me. So I went with these settings. As a matter of fact, let's see here. Yeah, I might have to do this at a later date, but I'm not quite set up to show the settings that I have on the mixer. But this channel is going to be designed and dedicated to houses of worship. So when you have audio needs and video needs, this is going to be our topic of discussion. Now, what we're going to be discussing here, at least today, is essentially just some of the basics that is needed for a live stream setup for church. So one of the main things is, of course, outside of your, audio system, your PA system, your microphones and your, instruments and your, in-house sound, essentially, is we recommend you have one, if not more than one of these items. So you have a computer definitely for general control of certain things, a live stream switcher, of course, at least one camera, if not multiple cameras, and then also a direct audio feed from your mixer, your front of house mixer. Now, do you need all these items? Not necessarily, but definitely you're going to need at least one camera, a way to get it to your computer that can put it out to the internet, or a camera that can put it through the video mixer or video switcher that can put it to your computer or straight from that video mixer or video switcher to the internet on its own. Now, there are a number of different, I guess you can say manufacturers, setups, and types. Some people just do a video feed straight to their computer, and it's just one camera. That's it. That can work fine for those who, want to do it that way to keep it really simple. And for those who want more of a, way to switch between different camera angles, you want a video switcher at least, or some sort of video switcher. Now, you can do this with a computer, as long as you have a computer that is capable of handling that. So you have to be very careful about your computer selection, your hardware selection, and then also make sure you have a good video stream, a good live stream connection to the internet. So yes, you can do it via Wi-Fi, but we definitely recommend to do it hardwired. So an Ethernet cable connected to your computer of choice, and then to your internet modem or router or some variation of that. Now, if you have a switch, that'd be great as well, because a switch is going to help to manage your network. There are unmanaged switches, managed switches. Uh, Routers can do pretty good, but switches are better to kind of handle your traffic, your network traffic to a certain degree. Let your router be the Wi Fi connection and pipe things to the internet like that if necessary. Now, when it comes to video camera selection, so I do have a few camera options here. So there are things like a DSLR. Forgive the picture being distorted a little bit, but I had to stretch the picture a little bit to get a good size. So you have a DSLR type of option, which is pretty common, as long as it has a clean HDMI out, which means you don't see any kind of settings on the screen when you're broadcasting. Then you have something like PTZ cameras, which you have the ability to move them around. You can be a one man or one woman kind of a producer, cameraman, and things of that nature, where you can manipulate the angles from your video controller, your video controller basically. So you can seem like you're much bigger kind of a group AV team, but in actuality, you're just a one man or one woman producer. And then you have also the option of the more studio type cameras that are more high end, a little bit more pricier, some decent features, great video quality. Also, please forgive the distortion. I had to stretch the picture just to make sure it fits the screen all the way, but you get the idea of the type of cameras that are available for that. So what can happen is a couple of different things. You can spend a whole lot of money, or you can spend a little money now and then have to redo it later on. So, depending upon your budget, depending upon your needs, depending upon how complex you want this to be, you definitely would want to make sure you make the right purchase as best you can at the very first point. You don't want to have to rebuy something. So, I mean, I've done it before and it's definitely not comfortable. You definitely want to make sure you get it right the first time as best you can. Now, when it comes down to um, essentially getting all the equipment in the right place, once you get it there, work with it, test it out, get familiarized with it, and also leave some room for yourself for making errors. You're not going to get it right the first time right out the gate. And even if you think you did, you're going to want to change something down the road. This is going to happen very often as you get more and more familiar with the equipment, as you get more and more familiar with what it can do, as you also get you have more needs. You may say, hey, I only want 2 cameras. So you get your 2 camera angles, you got a close shot and you got a wide shot. And that's what you just toggle between close and wide, close and wide. And then eventually say, you know what? I want to add a camera that's going to get the audience. And that's going to take you to get a third camera naturally in most cases, face it towards the crowd. And then you might say, you know what? I want 2 crowd cameras. So that means you got one on the left, one on the right, whatever positions you can get it in. And then you might say, you know what? I think I want a band camera, or can I move this camera over to catch the band, or, get a soloist, or do this and do that. And then eventually you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to at least need to have 5 cameras or 6 cameras or 4 cameras or something more than what you anticipated, at least at the very beginning. Leave room for yourself to grow in that respect from a video perspective, because as soon as you start to get one kind of setup down, you want to enhance it to, get a better kind of a feel. Now, if you start out that way and say, hey, I want 6 camera angles, I want, 2 on the crowd, 2 on the audience, I want the other 4 for the, main, I guess, angles, your center shot, your close-up shot, the wide shot, basically, your left, your right, and then, maybe some alternate angles depending upon what kind of cameras and how many folks you have to control this. So all in all, it'll take time for you to develop what you really want to do. Give yourself that opportunity to create that, environment, that, video presence. Now, all of that said, cost is going to be part of the deciding factor, right? So you're going to have starting at maybe a couple $100, you may have, let's say you have $2,000 to get started. It's not a lot of money when it comes down to camera equipment, because trust me, you can get to that amount very quickly depending upon the gear that you want to get. So let's just say one camera, depending upon the camera type now, one camera may cost you $300 or $400. You get three of those, you're at least nine, maybe $1,200. Then you have a video switcher that might cost you another, say, $300-400. Right there, you're at $2,000. You didn't do any cabling, you didn't do any tripods, you didn't do anything else, any computer software that you might need to have, or a subscription that you might need to, do if you decide to go that route. So you can get to $2,000 pretty quickly between your camera or cameras and your video switching or video switcher software. Some of them are going to have a monthly subscription to it if you decide to go one route or another. Others, you may just buy it and just stream as often as you like to. No monthly subscriptions, nothing like that. So there are benefits to either side. So if you do the subscription based kind of video switchers, you pretty much have the video switcher built in. You don't have to buy any more equipment. You just use it, broadcast when you feel like it. Others, it's hardware. Excuse me. Wow. It's hardware based. So you buy it once and boom, it's yours. You don't have to worry about paying for it over and over again. You just use it, broadcast to places like YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms, and no additional cost is necessary. Now, if you're not familiar with how to really operate one, or you don't want to buy physical equipment because you don't know if you're going to use it for the long term, yeah, you might want to go the subscription route where it's all software based, computer based, tablet based, things like that. And you have the flexibility of doing it somewhere else as well. So that's another benefit. I didn't even think about that. So let's just say if you have a subscription based platform that's a video switcher, and you have to bring audio in some way, shape, or form. But if you got the cameras, you're good to go. You don't have to bring nothing, terribly complicated other than your cameras and that, tablet or computer. Now, there are other platforms that you have to bring the equipment. So let's just say, spur of the moment, you want to do a broadcast, but you're not at your house of worship. You want to do it from your home. You want to do it from a remote place. You don't have to go to your house of worship, get the actual equipment, take it out of there, set it up somewhere else. You just have it available with you with your tablet or your computer and your cameras, or camera singular. And if you're doing the mobile camera way, which is like you can use your Apple phones, your Apple cell phones, that right there is very, very easy to get done. And you don't have to really worry about, oh, I got to go and change up my whole schedule just because I got to go get the equipment. No, if you have that phone and you got that tablet, you pretty much got 80% done. The rest is just audio and, where you're going to set it up at. Having said that, for those who want to have more of a permanent thing and they don't want to do anything remote, you might want to go the hardware route because it gives you a lot more flexibility. It's a lot more stable. You don't have to worry about, wireless issues, things of that nature, if they're hardwired. So you definitely want to take that time out to, evaluate or consider what's your main objective and what you're looking to do for the long term to make sure it's as easy as possible to operate and it's going to last and be productive for you. So that's essentially what you should consider for your setup, especially if you're going to be relatively new to it. Now, for those who have a setup and they're looking to revamp it or just kind of get the most out of it, definitely do what you can to maximize your equipment. Learn it. Make sure that you use any and every feature that might be applicable to you or things that's going to make your broadcast look that much better. And then go from there to say, if you need to, change equipment, make sure that it's compatible with your, system in general. So for example, some folks, they want to change their cameras and they get a new camera and then it's not compatible with their video switcher. So now they got to upgrade the video switcher. More money out of their pockets. They didn't expect it. And, it can get kind of pricey if you're not careful. So make sure if you're going to upgrade any equipment, that number one is compatible with what you already have. And number two, it's not over what you have. So you don't want to have a video switcher that can take a lower frame rate, but your camera can put out much more. And you over here spent, 12, 1300 bucks on a camera, but you come out with the same video quality as you did with the other cameras because, the video switcher can only handle but such a video kind of quality setting. So you want to make sure you have the best video switcher or encoder that you possibly can get, and then get your cameras to maximize on that as well. So that is the video side of things. On audio wise, I mean, of course, you got a fairly good connection. You got a good, video mix for your live stream. That's very, very important to work on. So having a dedicated person for that video live stream feed is great. Sometimes you have to use just the one person to do both for the in-house and also for the live stream. So depending upon what you want to hear and what you're going to get, you work that out, or they will work that out as best they can based upon, the kind of signal that they're going to get, the kind of mix that you want to have, and also if you plan to, have people to replay it or rebroadcast it somewhere. So, and if you're using a hardware version where you can see the levels and monitor it, that'd be great. If you're not able to do so for various reasons, hopefully week after week it'll get better up until you get to a certain point where you know where things should be based upon your service or services and your needs. So that's that. I mean, that's pretty much where we're coming from here on this side of things. Now, when it gets to the changing of your equipment, like I said, again, plan carefully because you don't want to have to buy it 2 and 3 times over. At least not on everything. Little small things here and there that you're going to have to get: accessories, cables, power cords, miscellaneous things to kind of make things work the way you need it. Okay, great. You may have to go back and forth a little bit. But when it comes to the main equipment, like your, computer, your video switcher, your, audio mixer, anything that's, a big purchase, so to speak, try to get it right the first time. And from there on, you should be good. So for this sake itself, let us know what type of things that you need to pretty much go over. Are you looking to enhance what you have? Are you looking to start from scratch? Let us know what you're looking to do. And then we'll discuss, anything that we can suggest that might help out. And if anyone else in the comments has some suggestions, definitely drop that as well. We'll be glad to see what you got to say. So until next time, stay tuned and stay blessed.